Squire.
I'm the only one here.
Can you believe he's first? Is he first?
I do believe that maybe Trevor is going to come tomorrow because he's still recovering from his flu that he had. So, but I think Alan may show up any moment, but that's a mystery. So I don't know what Tony is doing. So. But you got me for now. So. Oh, and Peter Banks. Is Peter coming up here, or what?
He's in and out. He's around.
Yeah.
Peter's playing
Okay.
But we've got some questions I've written down, and you can field through them. And anybody who you say the name, if you read their question, we're going to give them an autograph poster. Ones you just did.
Oh, okay. Well, you give them to me. You tell me the ones you think I'd like to ask.
Okay. Is it on? Okay. To Chris, I wonder, do you have a special feeling being the only member of progressively staying in the band all through the years? Do you have a special feeling? And that's Dwayne. Where's Dwayne?
Hi, Dwayne. Where's Dwayne? Put your hand up. Ah. Oh, he's over there. Well, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this whole event is very interesting. Wow. Maybe I could run for office. Yeah, I do. Is the answer to that.
Okay, and is the Chris Squire... You let me know when you're ready.
Go on, just go ahead.
Okay. Is the Squire experiment going to be released ever? Are we going to see that?
So some of it maybe, yeah. That little tour was exactly what it said it was. It was an experiment, and at the end of it, we were going to record the whole thing and make an album out of it, just in a quick 2-day event in the studio. Just before we were going to do that, I kind of had some ideas about maybe doing something else, a bit more progressive, that would represent my next solo album. So all I can say is that some of that stuff may be on it. But in some point in time, I expect if I don't use it on the album, it will be released in some way or another. Okay?
Okay, this question is from Doug Williams. What are the lyrics that you sing while John sings Coins and Crosses in And You and I? That deserves a poster.
That's a good one, isn't it? I did not write these lyrics. I don't know who wrote them. It was either Steve or John. And it's kind of an autopilot thing. I mean, God.
Would you like to get back with us at the next
I'll
event?
get back to that. I'll write it down in a minute.
Okay. Back in 1980-81, there were rumors of a project called XYZ Band. And was this true? And are there tapes that exist? And that's Michael Fisher. Don't forget to come up and get your posters when we ask your question. Yeah. Beautiful, Chris Squire.
God, plus the car and everything. Yeah, there are some tapes from that. Alan and I did 4 4 songs with Jimmy Page, and in fact, I think I wrote most of it, and Jimmy just kind of played along with it. And one of the tracks, however, he ended up using on the Firm album, kind of a version of it. And it was, but it was quite different. But he stole some of the riff. But I didn't sue because it didn't do that well. So. But there are, yeah. Once again, Alan's the good keeper of the tapes. He still has a catalogue of that stuff. So yeah, one day you should put that on something. They're reasonably good. Yeah.
Okay, and Tim Morse asked, when's your next solo album coming out?
Well, I always say within a year, and I've been saying that.
15 years.
Yeah. I know. Well, I suppose, yeah. How long is it? 20 years or something since the last one? 19, 20 years, yeah. Well, it's about time for another one. I agree. And I certainly got enough stuff. And I actually did go to England last year and worked on some arrangements of some tunes that I'd written with Andrew Chapman, who did all the arranging on Fish Out of Water, and that was after the Chris Squire experiment. So that's another source that I have to draw from the material there, and I'm putting together another thing at the moment with a couple of other musicians that may also be involved in the project. So, but. I really do hope. Actually, by the end of '95, something definitely will be done. That's what I can say.
Okay, Dave asks, whatever happened to the remake of Smoke on the Water? And can you tell us about it?
Yeah, there was a video and everything for that. That was for the Armenian earthquake relief, right? Yeah. And that was recorded in London with Gary Langan engineering it. And Jeff Downes was the producer. And I don't know if anyone really ever heard it. It wasn't that. No. You did? Well, it wasn't the best piece of work I've been involved with. It's okay. Yeah. It came out, but I don't know whether they managed to raise money or whatever. Maybe they did. But it certainly didn't have much of a profile in this country.
There's about 15 cards. Solo album, when is your solo album?
Yeah.
And there was a question regarding Billy Sherwood. Do you have any unreleased material that you, and how did you come about working with Billy Sherwood?
Well, I met Billy about 5 years ago. And he, actually I was introduced to him by Phil Carson, I think, or indirectly, not Phil Carson, from when we were still in ATCO, and he was doing the World Trade album, and I just met him and went along and sang some backup vocals on the track, and then we got together and did some work after that. Is he coming today? Did you invite him?
He's been invited, but how has it been going on the tour? How have things been going with Billy?
Oh, it's great. I thought Billy's been doing a lot of, I think a lot of roles that obviously if Trevor is, always going to do a lot of layered guitar stuff on the albums, and obviously you do need to have someone else doing it on stage. But it's a strange thing, really, whether it's, it certainly reproduces the album more. But I don't know, if it needs to be like that on stage, or whether it needs to be different again, because. But I hope Billy's enjoying himself. I was on KLSX the other night, and somebody called up and said, "Why is he at the back of the stage? What are you doing with him?" And so I said, "Well, I don't know. He comes down at the end." Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, and this one says, can you talk about how you get your distinctive bass sound in the studio Is it through specific instruments or amplification? And how do you get the same sound to translate so well in large arenas?
Really, it's just what I do. You know, it doesn't really matter what guitar it is so much. You know, I usually use the same kind of strings and stuff, but it's just the way I play. You know, and I'm just used to be able to. It's my job.
Okay, Tanya. Tanya wants to know, why don't you sing more? Because you're a great singer. Sing. Why don't you sing?
Oh, thank you. Well, you can all be the independent promotion people when I do release my album, and then then we can have a hit, and then maybe I'll sing more on the next Yes album.
Okay, Roman wants to know about a horror story from the Union tour, as well as one of the best times you've had. One of your worst times and one of your best times with the band.
Specifically from the Union tour?
Yeah, let's do the Union tour.
The Union tour was actually really good. I was kind of against the idea of doing it at the time that we did it. Not the principle of doing it, but the timing. I thought it could have been left for a couple more years before we did that. I honestly didn't think I was going to enjoy getting on with Rick, because I never could quite grasp his sense of humor in the past. Trevor Rabin has a funny story. He said to me, when he asked me what Rick was like, I said to him, well, if he says good morning, you know he's telling a lie. You know? However, as it turned out, the pleasant surprise was that that was personally what was going to worry me about that tour, and it turned out completely the opposite. He was very sweet, and we had a very good time together. And Steve is still the same, really. It doesn't still like Mr. in guitar world, you know. And it's like, oh, are there other people playing? And thank God I was the only bass player, that's all I can say.
We've got an odd request here. Sue from Las Vegas wants to know if she can have a hug.
Yeah.
All right, come on up. That's two. Okay, Michelle wants to know, what 3 words best describe your personality? 3?
Well, isn't that better if somebody else answered that? I don't know.
Should we ask Alan?
Ask Alan. Yeah, that's a good idea.
How much do you practice nowadays? And what kind of routine do you keep in practicing? Do you practice?
Well, I practice in as much as I sit at home and write. So obviously during the course of writing, I suppose that's a form of rehearsal too, you know. I don't really sit down and practice scales. I probably should. But so I practice while I write.
Okay, where's the Rickenbacker been lately? And what's your favorite beer?
It's funny. I don't drink beer really. I never. Not that I've got anything against alcohol. I like wine myself. I was for an Englishman. I'm pretty strange because I never indulged in the pub culture really very much. So yeah. I like a nice Pinot Noir myself. What was the other part of the question?
Where's the Rickenbacker been?
What?
The Rickenbacker, where has it been lately?
Where is it? What?
Where has it been, the Rickenbacker?
Oh, where is it lately? Is that what it says? I don't know. No, I play it during the show. I don't know. I played it last night, as far as best of my knowledge.
If you haven't noticed, there's a bass guitar right behind you, and they were asking if maybe at some point you might want to pick it up after we're done. Maybe practice a little bit.
Well, if Alan were here,
We'll be here.
if Alan were here,
Usually we're waiting for Chris to get here, and you're here first.
give me another question. I'm working tonight, for God's sake.
Okay, here's a doozy. Do you think the Anderson, Ruford, Wakeman, Howe members and the current Yes lineup will get together again for another tour or album as Union?
Yeah, I can see that's possible. I must admit, as I said, it's easier for me to say that because there's not another bass player involved. I know it wasn't particularly easy for Bill and Alan. You know, the two drummer thing is the most complex thing to try and get right. You know, but I can see us doing something again in the future. Give it a few years though. See who's still alive.
Okay, we have another fun request here. Bob from Rancho Cucamonga would like to know if you could sign his copy of Close to the Edge. Bob?
Sure.
Come on up. Is that okay? Would you mind?
He has? I wasn't sure if he was here somewhere.
No, Steve has left the building.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Steve, what is your favorite song to play with Steve Howe, or what it was? And maybe again.
There's so many. There's a lot. Actually, some of the things we did when we were recording in Montreux were very interesting musically, some of those little snippet things that we just did. Some nice. There was, I think, on the box set. There's a little vignette sort of piece, right? And and we had quite a few little things like that. It was very much in his kind of style, but nice.
Okay, will we ever hear Gates of Delirium, or the Gates of Delirium live again?
It's not impossible. In fact, it was. I like the live version on the Yes shows very much. Once again, that's a personal sort of situation, though, isn't it? It was like a Rick and Steve thing. Wasn't Patrick Moraes? Yeah, I know my Yes. Well, he's not here, is he?
Patrick will be here tomorrow.
Is he coming
He
tomorrow?
may be here today somewhere. He may be stopping by today as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and did you have anything to do with Atlantic's re-releasing Yes CDs, digitally remastered this fall? That's Mike Tiano from Notes from the Edge.
Hi, Mike. Did I have anything to do with it? Well, I don't know. I've heard different reports that some of the packaging was bad and stuff like that. I actually haven't really had a chance to listen to all of them to check the musical quality. But I don't know. I know that the Japanese did a great job on the CD of Fish Out of Water, and I don't know. But I was totally amazed, actually, that they made it sound very, very good. So, no, I didn't have anything to do with it, but I'm glad they have. But I hope that they didn't skimp too much on the packaging. But maybe they did, huh?
Okay, Devitt wants to know, are you and Trevor real writing buddies? Do you jam when you first throw out an idea, or how do you write together?
No, I can't stand him, actually. It's just it's just a showbiz thing that we do on stage. Yeah, no, of course we do. Yeah, of course we jam. Yeah.
Okay,
He's fun to play with. He's you know, if you can get past his personality, he's a great musician.
do you guys write together?
What?
But how do you write together? Do you write together?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah, we both write the song, then he says he wrote it, but you know, that's And he used to be a lawyer too, so I mean, there's not a lot of arguing with him.
Where was your musical education, or where did you get your musical education to come up with your melodic bass lines and song composition? And that's from Jeff Hapeman. So.
Well, I think a lot of that developed when in my band before, yes, which was The Sin, which you know had and once again Andrew Jackman was the keyboard player in that band, and he was the arranger on Fish Out of Water, and he still is. Basically, that's what he still does in England. Does arrangements for sort of classical music and stuff like that. And I think when we were both in our teens, and you know, we were starting with the band called The Sin, you know, and we'd both been in St Paul's choir together before then, so we'd had that choir boy history thing. But he was very musicianly, and you know, we'd work a lot on tunes, you know, and he'd suggest, well, you know, maybe you could do this kind of bass line, you know, that was really outside of the realms of rock and roll at that time. You know, rock and roll at that time was more based around you know, Elvis Presley kind of 12-bar stuff, and of course the Beatles changed all that, and a lot of my influence comes from there too, from the, you know, McCartney early stuff. But really, I'd have to say that Andrew was very responsible in a way for making me take things a stage further, and you know, try and look at rock music as more of a classical type of composition. And you know, maximize the use of the bass line, because in many ways, but the most, I won't say the two most important things, but two very important things are at the top line, the vocal line and the bass line in any kind of music. What they're doing together usually makes, you know, the attraction or the texture of the song, and you know, the chords and stuff really are more kind of fill things, you know, that sort of fit between them. So, you know, he just made me very aware of the importance of, you know, working harder on constructing a, you know, melodic bass line. And so thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Oh. We'll have to send him a copy. Are you videoing this?
Right there.
Oh, good, okay.
Say hello, Yestival, and feel free to say that tonight at the show, too. Oh. Okay, Albert Walker wants to know.
What?
Albert?
Videoing the show?
Pardon me?
You videoing the show?
Okay.
You'll have to talk to Peter about that.
Albert Walker wants to know if Billy Sherwood is going to become a full-fledged member of Yes. He fits in nicely.
Well, he's, I don't know. It's hard to say at this point in time. In a way he is, you know, because of the fact he's on stage with us at the moment, and, you know, it seems to be working very well. But let's see what the next phase is, you know. You know, we always like to change.
Okay, Shelley wants to know why you didn't play any songs from the
Should
Union.
be a politician.
But Shelley wants to know why no songs from the Union album showed up on the tour, this tour.
Who wants to know what?
Shelley wants to know.
Why did we not play any songs from the Union album? Oh, just lack of time. That's all. You know, we obviously we would love to have done The More We Live. And I know a lot of people also like Miracle of Life as well. Someone at the back going, yeah. And but it's just like, you know, I guess after, you know, these 25 years of the band, there's just not that amount of time, you know, to be able to fulfill everything. Maybe, yeah, well, maybe in the future is all I can say.
It appeared you weren't using monitors last night. That's a very brave move, this person asks. And is this the first tour without monitors, or how do you have them tucked away?
No, well, in actual fact, everyone except Trevor and I are using the new like remote headphone system with the earpieces for their monitors, which is great for Alan, because he used to have these speakers either side of the drum kit blaring out this huge amounts of volume, so he could hear the music above himself, or vice versa. I don't know which way it was, but it's working very well that he's got these in. And of course it's good for John too, because he means he can walk around anywhere and still have the same sound. And Tony and Billy are both using them as well. But in a way, Trevor and I don't need to, because whenever we're singing, we're in that particular place. And I don't know if the other guys are really getting used to them, but of course when you have those in your ears, it does take away a certain amount of contact with the actual atmosphere in the place, because it's a bit like you're in your own world, you know, so you lose the audience a bit. So, you know, but our speakers are under the metal grill. It's very, very 90s.
Can you tell us about the rearview mirror? You've got a rearview mirror set up?
Tell you about what?
Your rearview mirror.
Oh, the rearview mirror.
Stand,
Yeah, that's specifically for Endless Dream, because there's a part in that where I'm playing the bass pedals, and the way this tour is set up, Alan is exactly right at 12 o'clock behind me, and to be able to do this and see when he's going to play the beats are impossible. So in actual fact, that mirror is for me to watch him while I'm looking forward, so I can see what he's doing. And actually I'm sort of watching his leg kind of doing this, and it's only for the weird bits in the middle, not for the whole song, and the beginning too. Yeah. All the funny time stuff.
Okay, how many tape edits are there in Close to the Edge? And that's from Mike.
How many edits?
Tape edits.
Ooh. Well, a number. Close to the Edge, oh, maybe not that many. That was when we first started to, you know, do stuff in the studio where, you know, we were getting used to the idea of being splicing things together. I mean, because that was still a fairly new idea. But before we went into the studio with Close to the Edge, we did play the whole thing from top to bottom, which in fact benefited it quite a lot. By the time we got to doing Gates of Delirium, we were blatantly just recording the next 30 seconds and adding it on, you know, and then learning the next 30 seconds and taping that on. So that's got about 30 edits in it. And unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate, but you can kind of hear it when you listen back to it. It sounds like that, and that's why I like the Yes Show's version of that much better, because by then we knew how to play it as a whole piece. You know, and it's important when you start a piece to know what the end's going to be. you adopt a certain attitude then.
And throw in a rearview mirror, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Most of the time I'm pretty psychic about when Alan's going to play certain things, but you know, maybe I'll dump it if it's becoming a problem.
Okay, Jimmy Jones. Jimmy Jones from Virginia wants to know if any of the current members of Yes are taking any musical instruction of any sort.
Who might they be referring to?
You didn't specify current.
What?
You didn't specify current, so I guess.
I wouldn't know. Personally, I listen to the radio and stuff, and I don't know.
Okay, I hear Yes are going to be recording a live album on this tour, possibly?
We should record it, yeah.
Have you had?
Oh, yeah, we will, I'm sure.
How about a live video? You haven't done one since 9012 Live?
That's true. Yeah, 9012 Live, of course, was a great experience, and of course it was great that we actually managed to use Steve Soderbergh before he became famous with Sex, Lies and Videotape. The B-side to that whole thing is that it cost $900,000 to do, actually. So, although it was, but you get what you pay for, and so I guess. Yeah, we will look at that, but we did at that particular time. We spent a lot of money on that video with the Charlex special effects and post-production, and I don't know. But we needed to adopt a new approach to make another one. But even if it's just a plain performance video, yeah, we should make one. Thanks. Yeah. What are you doing tonight? Oh, he is videoing the show. You already told me.
This show.
For your new video label, I take it.
Chris's video, yeah. Are you guys doing a video for the record at all? Is there anything coming out for talk?
We've been, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we talked about doing a video, and once again, we should have done one for that, but Victory Music is not, well, it's not the biggest record company in the world, and so to make something decent, these days costs a lot of money. So, yeah, I think the theory is unless we can do something really good, then we're probably not going to do one at all, but maybe we'll just leave it till we do the live one, and,
Okay.
So, a couple more questions?
We've got a few more.
I've got to go and move furniture in my house.
Okay.
It's been a mess this week. I've
Are there
had
any-
the carpets done, I've had the walls painted, now it's all a mess. And I've got to play a show. So a couple more questions.
Are there any members of Yes that are still vegetarian?
Yeah, a couple of the row crew, actually. Yeah, completely. I tend to not eat meat 5 days a week, but I'm not completely vegetarian. I know too many good restaurants in this town.
Okay, and lastly, somebody wanted to know about the artwork. Roger Dean, you've decided to move on to the new logo, and are we going to see Roger Dean possibly come back in the future? His artwork.
Yeah, maybe. It's always hard to know whether to hang on to something that was such a strong Yes identification kind of thing like Roger's artwork was. It would seem it would be pertinent to use Roger again if we do another sort of union thing down the line, then maybe that would be the pertinent time to do that. So. Until then, I think, it's always good to search new areas. And it's a raffle.
It's a raffle. We're going to give away a pair of front row seats, as well as a pair of backstage passes. We're not sure if it's meet and greet before or after, but it's front row seats and backstage passes for tonight's show. So dig deep, dig really deep. Everybody get your tickets out.
Okay. Yeah. That's Brian Parker.
There's Brian.
Brian here.
Brian? All right, Brian Parker, congratulations.
Hey, Brian, what's your address? What? Is he Brian Parkin?
Yeah, that's fine.
It is.
Looks like I know.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, Chris, we can't thank you enough for coming out today. Chris, bye, everyone.
All right, thanks a lot. See you tonight.
So Alan still isn't here. This is just usually every single year. Not here, Chris.
What's that guy in that big picture? With that face.
Oh, he didn't sign it yet.
I thought I signed that one.
Yeah, you might have done it. I don't know, this wouldn't work on this. It doesn't like solve
Hey, check these out. Those you want to go?
Are you having
Say
fun?
what?
Yes-table, all you want. Oh, we've got.
Really weird.
Here. And just lift the much up better. So were you pleased with the crowd? Or?
Very nice, yeah. I mean, it's a bit like being on the talk show, really.
Yeah, I've been on the talk show.
Let's drop this back to him. I'll go and get the cards.
Okay. Sure.
There you go. John's already.
You did?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks, Pat.
All right.
See you tonight.
Okay.
For what? Are you
Thanks. Sure.
Thanks, guys.
You're shaking hands.
Have fun. Yeah, sure.
Thank you for all the years, and thanks for hanging in there when times were tough.
Okay.
Keeping it alive.